Upakadamayam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham shiyo shiyuda padakamalam shiyom vaishnavamsa. Shirupam sagajatam saganaragnatam vitam tam sativam. Sadvaitam savadutam parjanasaitam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shri Vishakam Vidam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Banda Jatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kantana Gauranti Radhe Vrindavanashtai Vrishabhana Sutta Devi Pranamama Hari Priye Pancha Kaltubhisham Kripa Sindhve Vasa Patananam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhuttali Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatarini Srila Prabhupada Ki. I'm very happy to be with you this beautiful deities Nitai Gaura Nataraj. They have their arms in the air. Means festival. Always festival with Gaura time. And that is spiritual life. It's a festival that never stops. These were the last words of Kadambakana Maharaj to his disciples. That yes, also the chanting of the holy name is meant to be blissful. That and last 2 years I worked on a book. I called it Japa Ananda. Japa Ananda, the Ananda one, or the bliss of chanting. That the problem with the book is I speak about it and give seminars, and I feel always I have to add things. It never stops. That I was thinking to read from my book, but I went so many times over it that I memorized everything, so no need to read about it. But that seminar is normally 22 sessions. Last time I gave in Prague 14 sessions and we were halfway. But I will try to give you the essence and my conclusions that we don't have much time, 1 hour, but we'll try to give the essence that the holy name is in this material world, the holy name is an import product. Where comes the holy name? Where does the holy name come from? That colloquio premare dana harinama sankirtan. Colloca premare dana harinama sankirtan. It comes from colloque. Narottam Das Thakur says. Import product from colloque. Colloque means Colloque Vrindavan. And 5,000 years ago, we had the replica of Vrindavan here in the Bhumi Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, everyone chants the glories of Krishna constantly. Mother Yasoda is churning, while churning butter, she's reciting poetry which are describing Krishna's pastimes. Krishna appears from the rasa dance. What happens? First the gopis, they become mad, searching after Krishna. But finally, what do? Harinam, they chant Krishna's names. And by that, they are forcing Krishna to reappear. So that is what they do in the spiritual world. In Goloka, Vrindavan, the holy name is non-different from Krishna. That's and who brought us this holy name? How did it come from Golok to Orlando? How did it come here? Who is the master of Golok? Krishna. And who is Lord Chaitanya? Yeah, Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha, Krishna, Narayanam, Radha and Krishna together. It's Krishna himself. Because it said in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Savdam Prachya Mamkam Sram Vacham Tvam Sarvabhavya Mokshishyami Macha. Surrender unto me. I will take care of you. What's the problem with that? In Kali Yuga, no one wants to surrender to anyone. And Krishna knew that. Therefore, because Krishna puts conditions, he said, you surrender. But Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya in the compassionate mood of Radharani and no conditions. Lord Chaitanya said, just chant his holy names. Therefore, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya to give us the holy names in Kali Yuga. And who brought it to us? It's in the book written by Lochan Das Thakur, Chaitanya Mangal. It's mentioned that if some escape India and they go overseas, then I will send my Senapati Bhakta, my field commander, my general, and he will catch them. And he will give them the holy name. And this holy name is mentioned that will spread all over the world. So Lord Chaitanya is the same Krishna from Golok. He brought us the holy name, and Srila Prabhupada brought it to us. Now what's happening when you chant a holy name? When you chant holy name properly, you go back to Golok. It comes from Golok. It's brought here by the master of Golok. And if you chant it properly, you go back to Golok. That is the power of the holy name. In the second verse of Sikshastikam, it is said, the Lord has invested all his potencies in this holy name. Now once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was in a certain temple and he was working in his room, and outside his room devotees were discussing something. And Maharaj came out of his room and he was asking, what are you discussing? And the devotee said, oh Guru Maharaj, I'm chanting now for such a long time. And I feel I do not make any advancement. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, that's very good. If you would think yourself a great devotee and that you have made a lot of advancement, that's not so good. Of course, a devotee is always humble, and a sincere devotee feels himself the most fallen. But we cannot imitate that. When devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen, Prabhupada replied, you are not the most of anything. It's just a mental game. One must really feel like that. Srila Prabhupada was visiting the Uppsala University in Stockholm, and he spoke to the students and he gave a lecture explaining what's a first-class man, a second-class man, a third-class man, that Peter Prabhu was one of the first German disciples. He was with Prabhupada, and when he explained that, one of the students challenged him and said, you think you are a first-class man, yes? Yeah, therefore you sit on this elevated seat and get these garlands and so on. That Prabhupada replied, no, I'm a fifth-class man. And Peter Prabhu could see, he looked at Prabhupada at that moment, and eyes and tears came from his eyes. So Prabhupada really felt like that. Of course, if we feel fallen, and like another devotee said to Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada replied, yes. And what are you going to do about it? So that's the point. If we don't feel we are not making spiritual advancement in the chanting, then the question is why? Why? So when we chant the holy name, then we have to open our heart for the holy name. And the first thing to understand is that the chanting of the holy name is a process with stages. It's a process we are going through. Like there are 9 processes of devotional service from Shraddha to Prema. It's explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There are 3 main stages in the chanting of the holy name. And who is the expert Acharya in the chanting of the holy name? Srila Haridas Thakur, he was appointed Acharya by Lord Chaitanya. Although Haridas Thakur was Muslim by birth, in his youth he had eaten meat and so on. But he successfully reformed himself by the chanting of the holy names. And he was appointed Acharya. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the father of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj, he wrote a book which is called Harinam Chintamani. And he wrote this book in the form of a dialogue of a samvad between Haridas Thakur and Lord Chaitanya. He wrote this book in 1900. How old was Srila Prabhupada then? 4 years, yeah. And in that book, 3 stages, Haridas Thakur explained, holy name has 3 stages. The first stage is aparat, the offensive state, we chant with offenses. Prabhupada listed 10 offenses. They are coming from the Padma Purana, these 10 offenses. So if we chant in this offensive state, we make offenses, then the chanting of the holy names has very little effect. It has effect, but it's very minimal. Only a few anarthas will go, but so as long as we are in the offensive state, the heart does not become purified. Then the second stage is, and Haridas Thakur calls this namabhas. Namabhas means a reflection of the real name. You don't get yet the full potency of the holy name, but the potency becomes manifest. Like today reminds me of Belgium, always clouds. There are clouds, you don't see the direct sun. You don't see the full potency of the sun. But still it's daylight, you see things as they are. And so all potencies are in the holy name, but they will only be manifested to us when we give up this apparat, when we give up this offensive mentality, we come into the next stage, namabhas. And namabhas is called the clearing stage. So what's the effect when we of the chanting of the holy name, when we chant in namaparat? Very little, practically nothing. What's the effect when we chant in namabhas? Our heart becomes purified. The anarthas goes. Anarthas means unwanted things in the heart. All our material desires, they will go. And that's a process that usually takes many years. But the process to start, we must enter this clearing stage. So the effect in the clearing stage is purification of the heart. And when the heart is completely purified, then we come at the third stage, and that's called Sudanam, chanting the pure holy name. Then we have the full sun of the holy name, the full potency. And when you chant the holy name in Sudanam, what is the effect? What will happen?
Go back to Golopa.
Please?
Go back to Golopa.
Then we are on the way, yes. That
You become very absorbed in the chanting,
Yeah.
very attracted to it.
so what is the goal of life? Krishna Prema. Then you will start to develop love of God. Then it will start. Now, it's good to know in what stage I am. That probably we are not yet at the Sudanam stage. But the question is how to go from the apparat to the namabas to make spiritual advancement. How to do that? Prabhupada says you have to give up the 10 offenses. That's one thing. That's in the Padma Purana. But how do you know you are in the clearing stage? What happens in your heart? How do you know? Someone knows? That it's important that you know you are advancing.
Taste increases.
Taste increases. Yes. We get more and more taste. So that's very important to know. That if our taste doesn't increase, if we chant without taste, means apparat. That if our taste increases. Now, of course, these three stages are not different from the general process of devotional service, described by Rupa Goswami from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha means in the beginning you get some faith. You hear from a Swami at the Sunday feast or whatever, and you get some faith. And then the next stage is you have faith and you want to know more. So you associate with devotees, sadhu sangha. And what do you learn from the devotees? Bhajana Kriya, how to practice devotional service. And in the beginning, our practice, our sadhana, is going up and down. We are not coming immediately to chanting 16 rounds and follow all the principles. It takes some time. So in the beginning, it is anishtita bhajana kriya. That it's unsteady devotional service. But then after some time, we get initiation and we are steady. Nishtita bhajana kriya. So if you are studying devotional service and you have Nishtita Bhajana Kriya, you are chanting and following the programs, morning, evening, you try your best. My question to you, is your heart becoming purified? Who think that one's heart become purified?
We can hope it's purified.
We can, okay, that's careful.
That's the aim.
Yeah. The thing is there that probably you will become purified, but what's the condition to go to anartha nivriti, which is the next stage, the purification of the heart? We must give up our offensive mentality. So it means that you can chant and practice devotional service for many years, but not coming really fully in our Anartha-nivritti, because we did not give up the offensive mentality. I've seen that many times, that when I joined Radhadas, there were still brahmacharis, but somewhere or another, that species is not there anymore. But there were brahmacharis, they would not even look at the face of a woman. It's Maya. That anyway, they were the first to get married. But but it means that I've seen many of them, they go on Sankirtan for a few years, and then they disappear. You never see them anymore. What does it mean? It means they did not yet enter Anartha-nivritti, really. Of course, it is not like, these stages are not like yesterday, 6:30 and 40 seconds. I went from Nishtita Bhajana Kriya to Anartha-nivritti. No, it's not like black and white. That even in the offensive state, you come a little purified. But this is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that if you chant with apparat, offenses, then the effect is very minimal. That you don't, a few anarthas will go, but usually we have thousands of anarthas in our life, in our heart. So the big chunk is still there. So you wanted to know how to advance in the chanting of the holy name, then what first you have to understand, why are we making these 10 offenses? If you look at these 10 offenses, they are forms of disrespect. Disrespecting the devotees, disrespecting the spiritual master, not following his instructions, disrespecting the Vedic literature, disrespecting the holy name, thinking it's imagination, that it has no potency. No, the potency is there, but it will only manifest to you if you give up your offensive mentality. So what is the root cause behind that? It's ignorance. But ignorance of what? Haridas Thakur explains, what's the condition to enter Namabhas? What's the condition? He says, to enter Namabhas, you must be situated in Sambandha Jnana. You must be situated in Sambandha Jnana. Can someone explain to me what Sambandha Jnana? What is that animal? Sambandha Jnana, what does it mean? No? Sambandha. Relationship. It's knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. Yes. Knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. This knowledge has 3 aspects. You have to know who Krishna is. You can't have a proper relationship with someone you don't know. That you must know Krishna's position. Krishna has 64 qualities. described in Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is a very important book to cultivate the Sambandha Jnana. It was the first book my spiritual master Bhakti Maharaj read. He read Nectar of Devotion, and he wanted to become a devotee. He wanted to join. Prabhupada says about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, every devotee should know this book in and out. We should, because this is the manual. So 64 qualities, Krishna is expansion, Vishnu has 60 qualities, Lord Shiva is up to 55 qualities. The living entities have 50 qualities. The demigods has these 50 qualities to a great extent. We in this material world here, conditioned souls, have the 50 qualities in a minor extent. To a minor extent. Like, we must know Krishna's position. There was a discussion with Srila Prabhupada about Lord Shiva. In that discussion, Srila Prabhupada said very clearly, Lord Shiva cannot give liberation, only Vishnu. So otherwise, we mix demigods with Vishnu Tattva. And then you cannot not have a proper relationship with Krishna. You don't understand that. Then you make the second offense against the holy name. Thinking that the names of Lord Shiva or Brahma are independent of the name of Lord Krishna. So that's Sambandha Jnana. And the first effect of knowing Krishna, of course, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karmas medikam yomi veti tattva tyaktvam naiti mami tasarana. That Janma karmas medikam yomi veti tattva tyaktvam punarjama naiti mami tasarana. When you know me and my activities and pastimes, then you don't take birth again in this world. But if we know Krishna, then we can cultivate our relationship with Krishna. And if we are established in that relationship, we don't take birth again. So but that requires this Sambandha Jnana. And if you know who Krishna is, the first thing you realize is, I'm not Krishna. That's important. The Mayavadis, they make that error, that they think Krishna. Anyway, that's very offensive. But therefore, the Mayavadis sometimes chant the holy name, but there's no effect. They are not situated in Sambandha Jnana. That's offensive. Their chanting is offensive. And if you know who Krishna is, then we know we are the servant of Krishna. That Gopi Bhakta Kamala Das and Das and Das. Lord Stein said we are the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. That so we must, if we understand that, we must cultivate a desire to be established in that position as a servant of Krishna. That what is the position of a servant of Krishna? How does he feel inside? How does he behave? Lord Chaitanya said, Trinata Paisunichna Tarora Visaisna Amana Madana Kirtanya Sadari. Nadanam Nachan Nasundarim Kavata Vashi Shikami. Mama Chamami Chamamishvari Bhakta Bhakta Haitakitvahi. This is the internal mood of a devotee. He's tolerant, that is ready, is humble. He does not want any respect for himself, give all respect to others, does not want wealth, does not want yeah, any followers or association with the opposite sex. He does not want liberation. He wants to serve the Lord birth after birth, just out of love. So that is what we need to learn, the mood of loving Krishna. How to love Krishna. You cannot love Krishna unless you adopt this attitude inside. That unless we adopt this attitude, this love will not develop. Because if you don't adopt this attitude, you still try to take Krishna's position. That because you think this is for my enjoyment and this is mine. And thing is then, this offensive mentality makes us enter into the duality of this world, good and bad for the body and so on. This duality. We start to chant Hare Krishna, and the mind says, I want to do something different. And the chanting of the holy name becomes a space when we make our shopping list, or we make our planning for the day, maybe the menu for today. But no, when we chant, we must be with Krishna. We must say to our mind, we will do that later. I'm busy with Krishna. But still, the mind will not allow you. If it's too much absorbed in this attachment and aversion, and unless we take the position of a humble servant of Krishna, we remain absorbed in this attachment and aversion. That Raga and Dvesha, Lord Krishna in 334, Bhagavad Gita says, aparipantina, obstacles of the path of devotional service. So this is very important. Therefore, Haridas Thakur said, one who is chant Namabhas, chant with proper knowledge of Sambandha Jnana, is situated in Sambandha Jnana. That is situated properly in his relationship with Krishna. But all these anarthas in our heart keep us away from that. Anarthas means material desires. And material desires means I'm not a servant of Krishna. I'm a servant of my body, mind, and so on. So it becomes sometimes very difficult. Like someone is embracing a tree and is embracing tightly the tree and says, let me go, let me go. But then a wise man comes, and the spiritual master, and say, but it's you who are holding one of the tree, let it go. And it's like that. We try to chant the holy name, but then all these material desires pop up. And that's completely contrary to the chant. And therefore it becomes sometimes very difficult. But how to get out of it. That it looks like a vicious circle. That we try to chant in the right position, but we can because of these anarthas, and you sit in a vicious circle. How to get out of it? That Prabhupada said many times, purity is the force. But if we are not pure in heart, what then? But to explain this, I discussed that yesterday shortly also during the house program, that where someone asked Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there in ISKCON? And Prabhupada turned to his secretary and said, how many devotees are there in ISKCON now? Did he consider all the devotees in ISKCON as pure devotees? That were they all pure in heart, without any material desire? No. But in Nectar of Devotion, he said, Iyayasyaredasye karmanamanasakarya Nikalash apavaste sujiva muktasa uchate. One who acts constantly with body, mind, words, conviction, only in the service of Krishna, without interruption, is considered a liberated person or a pure devotee. There are two kinds of pure devotees. The one who are completely pure in heart. Good luck to find one. And the other is the one who is purity in his desires. Purity in desire. We are the spirit soul. The symptom of the soul is consciousness. And action of the soul is desire. The rest is done by material nature, Krishna says. And if you don't agree, then what does Krishna say? Praktikayamane gunakarmana sarvasa ankara vimudatma kartam itimanyate. Then you are a vimuda, Krishna says. Because everything is done by material nature. Who controls material nature? Maya Yakshene Prakriti. Krishna says, I'm the superintendent of Maya. I'm controlling Maya, the material energy. How does Krishna control Maya? As the super soul in your heart. He makes your body working. He organizes your digestion, that your heart beat. There are so many systems in your body, all the blood system, the lymphatic system, nerve system, so many systems. It's a super soul who takes charge of it. It's in our heart. So yes, the spirit soul we only desire. That's explained also in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, verse 8 to 12. One in divine consciousness, Krishna says, sees that although one is speaking, walking, evacuating, moving his eyes, closing his eyes, and so, in fact, he does nothing. Everything is done by material nature. That in 13th chapter, text 30, Krishna says the same thing. One who sees that the soul does not do anything in this world, that everything is done by material nature, sees things as they are. But what are we doing? We are desiring. And Krishna fulfills these material desires, or does not fulfill them according to our karma. But we desire. So now this desire of the soul, that's the activity of the soul. And in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the soul must be active, cannot be inactive. We must desire. If you don't desire, you are a stone, Prabhupada said. So we desire. Attachment is a symptom of life. But we have the choice to attach ourselves to the material energy and the spiritual energy. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about Mahatmas Tamam Partam Devim Pragati Ashrita. The Mahatma, the great soul, knows how to connect with the spiritual energy. And that's what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, how to connect with the spiritual energy through devotional service. But we are used to connect with the material energy through false ego, I and mine. But how can we change that from one position to the other? Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said, 1 moment. Of course, if we really desire to think of Krishna, we think of Krishna. 1 moment. But then the next moment, our mind takes us away. And that's the problem. But it depends on the purity of your desire. We have to purify our desire. We may be full of anarthas inside, but we need to change our desire from exploiting the material world to serving Krishna. And that's the process of Krishna consciousness. It's changing our desire. That's all. But it takes a while. But if we really want, we can act with purity by using our body, mind, and words, and so on, in the service of the Supreme Lord. But when Prabhupada said that, he said to his secretary, how many devotees are there in ISKCON? But at that time, in the mid-70s, that joining ISKCON means giving up everything and moving into the temple, going on Harinam every day, and book distribution and so on. That devotees were only living to please Prabhupada and Krishna. They gave everything up. And this purity of action, of desire, that caused a wonderful reciprocation of Krishna. Millions of books went out in that period. And we spread all over the world. So many temples were opened. Very powerful. This period in the history of ISKCON is called the Hare Krishna explosion. So we must learn to act purely. That when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we must chant with purity. Purity means, Prabhupada says, like a child crying for the mother. The child is crying for the mother. It wants only the mother. It's focused. And the child feels helpless. And there is a bond of affection with the mother. This kind of love that, and the child is longing for the mother. But in that way, if we chant in that mood, taking shelter of Krishna, that means surrender to the holy name. It's very important. And then by that intensity, by that inner attitude, we will be able to focus on the holy name and give our love. Then we will be able to give attention. If we feel helpless, that and know Krishna is my only maintainer and protector, then we will be able to focus on the holy name. It's just a question when you chant, you make a hole in your consciousness, in your material consciousness. And you go to the hole to be with Radha and Krishna when you chant. And you can make that hole only by devotion, nothing else. But if we are absorbed in this duality, good and bad, we cannot make that hole. We are absorbed in material consciousness. And like the first offense is very important to overcome. Develop good relationship with devotees is so important. Because if we have problems with devotees, feel offended, or have a certain grudge towards a devotee, that or always think this person did that to me, and you feel very much hurt inside. What will happen? That you may even become angry. That we see Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaksha, they were fixed on Krishna in anger. That, but if you are fixed on this person did that to me, you will think of that person, not on Krishna. Your mind will also go there. Therefore, Ksama, we should forgive. We should forgive. The mind. Srila Prabhupada writes about that in 10.3 of Bhagavad Gita. There all qualities, a lot of qualities created by Krishna are explained. And also in chapter 16, divine qualities 1, 3, the quality of Ksama is discussed, forgiveness. And Prabhupada writes, we should forgive the minor offenses of others. What are big offenses? Like Duryodhana and the Kurus were aggressors, trying to kill the Pandavas, trying to take all their possessions away. Aggressors should be killed. Of course, that's the Kshatriya's business, not ours. But that's mostly not the case. So offenses, minor offenses, we should forgive.
This Prabhupada's quote, same thing here.
Yeah, you read it?
You should learn to forget and forgive minor offenses, incidents, because whenever there are two men in a place, there's always going to be some misunderstanding. Letter to Gargamuni, January 11, 1968.
Yes, because then if we don't forgive, it stays in our heart. And it comes up during the chanting. So that's important. So in summary, what did I say? That we have to endeavor, the essence is we have to endeavor to come to the clearing stage, namabas. We can do that to giving up the 10 offenses. We can give up the 10 offenses when we are situated in proper sambandha jnana. For this, you have to hear the Bhagavatam every day. That will help. So situated in sambandha jnana, and also give up the then there is the mood of the chanting, the mood crying like a baby for the mother, that give up the offenses, the minor offenses to others, and live a lifestyle in goodness in which you cultivate the pure desire to serve Krishna. That pure desire should become your priority in life, to serve Krishna. And that it's all meant to come to one simple thing. It's very simple. Someone asked Bhakti Charamaj, what does it mean chanting Hare Krishna? Chanting Hare Krishna means, he said, saying to Krishna, I love you. But if our mind is busy with other things, we cannot say that. And that's the only problem. So this is a summary of the basic principles. Of course, one has to go deeper in that. And in the next sessions, we will go deeper in that, in D-Land. So thank you very much. Any question, comment? Yes, please.
So as you progress through these stages from like Namaparad all the way to like Shuddhanam, that's a sign of like advancement in your own spiritual progress, and you become more humble and you start seeing yourself as more degraded and fallen. So are you actively aware that you are progressing through these stages?
Yeah, that we explained in the beginning, that the symptom of advancements is that you get more and more taste in the chanting. That's the symptom. That's because when you chant in Sudhanam, then how do you know I'm in Sudhanam? You feel constantly ecstasy. It's never diminished anymore. But in the Namabhas, it goes up and down. But still, you go gradually up. And the first symptom is you cannot stop chanting. You become attached to it, and then you start to give up your attraction for material things. You start to understand, I'm here very temporary. Soon I'm out of the body. What's the use of all these things, all this attachment? And that develops within the heart. Yes.
This question, like, for example, if I ask someone to come to service, so I can see, oh, you didn't do the service, fine. But about chanting is something that, or Japa, we don't really discuss. There could be some kind of like a way that, okay, confidential group or something, how is my Japa, like example, we gave, even as devotees, start chanting Japa, thinking of how to expand the temple project, which is a good thing, but not during Japa time. Let's be with Krishna after that. These thoughts can come and might be coming, I'm sure, they don't say that, but maybe they are. I'm trying to see how could we kind of like get together and one to a group, and we share our issues and we try to help each other somehow. You follow my question?
Yeah. The basic to chant in Namapas is being situated in Sambandha Jnana. To be situated in Sambandha Jnana we learn from hearing the Bhagavatam every day. So we should come together every day and discuss together how to apply all these spiritual techniques in our life. And if we are together with the devotees, Krishna says, well, then I'm there. So then that will churn in our hearts, because many devotees have different kinds of realizations of this, or different kinds of questions. And that churns the heart. And therefore, Prabhupada wanted us to have a morning and an evening program in which we discuss these things. And read at least 2 hours. Like one of the 10 offenses is the third offense. It's called Guru Avakya, not following the instructions of the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada said to his disciples, some of his disciples, why am I translating these books in the middle of the night, giving up my sleep? It's for you to read them. If you are not reading them, Guru Avakya. So, of course, if you have a morning program and an evening program, we have already 2 hours. But today it's problematic. Before, everyone was living in the temple, but now they are coming once a week. No, we have to have Sangha every day. Organize it one way or another. If you cannot come to the temple, have it on Zoom or whatever, but have contact every day and discuss about Krishna and engage in the mission. That, of course, we have also to service. It's a combination of this discussion and this service, and very powerful, because the service pleases Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Sutta Goswami says in the Bhagavatam, Shrimata Svagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantato Yabatani Vidunot Sirtsitam. When I see that my devotee is interested in me and is attracted to me of hearing, I from within the heart start to purify his heart. And that's the purification. The purification is done by Krishna in the heart. Tesam satyuknam bhatsyam pridapurkam dadami buddhyam tam ye namam payantite. Dadami buddhyam. I give this realization, this buddhi yoga is realized knowledge. How does it do that? Tesam evanakampatam amma jnana chamtama nasa jama bhavastu tipana bhashvata. With the lamp of knowledge, I enter the heart of the devotee and destroy the ignorance. I establish him, re-establish him in Sambandha Gyan. So there is a strong connection between hearing and discussing Prabhupada's books, Krishna Katha, and chanting. The more you hear, the more you know about Krishna, the more your relationship will become firm. And then the more the chanting will increase in quality. So there is this relationship with hearing Krishna Katha. Good. Yes, please.
So, Marge, you said earlier that if Mayavadis chant the holy name, they're not going to get the full benefits. So how can we understand that? Like, will they get benefits after a long time of chanting, or will it never happen?
That will never happen by Mayavadis, because they are offenders of Krishna. It's Avachanti Mamunam Manisham Tanam Ashvitam. Krishna says they are offenders. And they never can understand him. That they will go to the darkest regions of hell, he says. So that's very problematic. Of course, everything can happen. That is what Lord Chaitanya said. Brahmanda Brahmate Konya Bhakyavan Jiva Kura Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Beach. We go up and down in this universe, and then by the mercy of Krishna, one meets a pure devotee. And this pure devotee, this guru, gives the seat of devotional service to someone. And that is the power of a pure devotee. I had a good friend, I forgot his name, but the Prabhupada disciple from Mumbai, but before he was a Mayavadi. But his father was a devotee, and he invited Prabhupada, and he was hearing Prabhupada, but he was a Mayavadi, and he said yes. He said to Prabhupada, "Do you want to discuss this? Have a debate with my guru, a Mayavadi guru?" And Prabhupada said yes. He went to his Mayavadi guru, and he said him, "Can you discuss that with him?" And he said, "No, I don't want to speak with him." And then he understood, and he became a devotee. So by the influence of Prabhupada, everything is possible. So that influence is still there, it's available. Therefore, Prabhupada's mercy is in his books. If we give someone a book, even a Mayavadi, and he starts to read that book, Prabhupada is preaching. And that's very powerful. We don't have the power mostly to convince these Mayavadis. It's better to stay away from them, because we may be influenced if we are not strong. It's very dangerous association. Because it destroys your sambandha jnana. But by the mercy of a pure devotee, everything is possible. Yes.
2 or 3 questions, but first, simple one. When you say the heart is getting purified, do you mean the soul? Because I don't know what heart is. Can you explain it?
Yeah. The soul is always pure.
Okay.
But a symptom of the soul is consciousness.
Right.
And it is explained in the 4th canto of the Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva speaks to Parvati and says, when this Vasudeva consciousness, this Krishna consciousness, is the pure consciousness of the soul, original consciousness. Original consciousness is Krishna consciousness. But now this consciousness have become polluted by the influence of passion and ignorance. And that makes us identify with the body, and we forget our real self. And so it's pollution of consciousness. So we have to remove this pollution, and that is the purification. And that's explained in the Bhagavatam. Nastve sabhati sunityam bhagavata sevya bhagavata damaskri bhakti bhagavati naistiki. By regular attendance of the class of the Bhagavatam, and all and serving the mission of the spiritual master, all that what is troublesome to the heart is nearly destroyed. And then next verse explains how that happens. Tatovachas tamova karma dobra seyasite, sitera teranavitam stitve sattve prasidati. Gradually, when we hear about Krishna and chant his holy name, that the influence of the mode of passion and ignorance is removed from the heart and become situated in goodness. And that is the purification of the heart.
When we use the word heart, we're talking about consciousness.
Consciousness, and the consciousness is in the mind. The mind, the intelligence, that is the subtle body. That's where the contamination is. And because the subtle body is contaminated, as long as the subtle body is materially infected, not spiritualized, it will force us at the time of death to take another body. So we have to give up this subtle body. The subtle body is with us since we came from the spiritual world. It's too long ago. But finally we have to destroy this subtle body. How do you destroy this subtle body? By purification. The subtle body has three elements: buddhi, intelligence; manas, mind; and false ego. The false ego is there because the mind and the intelligence is contaminated by the mode of passion and ignorance. That's why it's there. So we have to purify our mind and intelligence. Mind means thinking, feeling, willing, emotions, and so on. How do we purify it? Krishna says, man mana, you think of Krishna. This is explained in Sri Upanishad, that Krishna is antiseptic and prophylactic. Antiseptic means when you think of Krishna in the mind, your mind becomes purified gradually of this passion and ignorance. And while you are thinking of Krishna, is prophylactic, is a vaccine. No new contamination can come in. How we are purifying the intelligence? How do we purify the intelligence? That's what we are doing now, transcendental knowledge. We gradually realize our situation as a spirit soul by hearing this transcendental knowledge. And when the mind is purified and intelligence is completely purified, then there is no false ego anymore. Your subtle body stops to exist. Your thinking, feeling, and willing is again done by the spirit soul, not by the material elements. And that's our original condition. And that's being liberated. Does that help to understand?
Yeah, one other. We blame the mind for the contamination, but the desire to enjoy separately comes from the soul itself, right?
That's a little more complicated. That I'm afraid I'm going to go very deep in that, but I give you a short answer. And desires originally come from the soul, but we have got many desires in previous lives. Material desires. What is the characteristic of a material desire? You can never fulfill it. That Krishna says that Avatam Jnanam Etana Jnana Nitya Varna Kamrupina Kantena Dusprenana Alena. It burns like fire, it's never satisfied. Never satisfied. Because it's never satisfied, it remains. And it remains in our subtle body. Life after life. That's called our subconsciousness. And sometimes Krishna, it takes one of these desires and pops it up in your mind and say, here is it again, you tried last life, you can try again. And then there are two possibilities. The conditioned soul in this world thinks that desire comes up, that they think that's my desire, because they think I'm the mind. But yoga means controlling the mind. If you control the mind, you are not the mind. Otherwise, you cannot control. That's a very simple thing. But a devotee sees that material desire popping up in his mind. And Krishna says, you try again. But the devotee thinks, oh, what kind of desire is that? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yisam spasyabhara dukkha yoninga evate atyantavante kantina gnati shara mate putaha. That if material desire means, if you want to enjoy in this world, the result is suffering. You have to pay with suffering. And the devotee sees that desire, material desire, I'm not interested. I don't want to suffer. That's a material desire. Forget about it. And it disappears forever. So that is what we have to learn. That's explained in 270 Bhagavad Gita. Desires come in our mind, like rivers go to the ocean, but a devotee is not disturbed by it. He looks at it and it disappears. But desires can come from different sources. If you are in a sinful environment, then desires will come into your mind. People go in the street, restaurants, they smell and their mind is attracted to that, and they, oh, maybe I should taste this, that. So desires come from the environment. The best environment is the temple of Krishna with Gauni type. That there you don't have these influences. That their Maya is not so strong. If you are alone outside, Maya is strong. Maya is going to get you. Therefore, we need association in devotees. These are protection. Something else?
I want to give the answer.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
A question.
So, you explained about coming to the stage of Shuddhanam. So, if we like to come to that stage, we have to give up all our material desires.
Yeah.
But in especially if we are in Grahastha ashram, we have kids, family, friends, and I mean, we have to do our duties on a day-to-day basis to raise our kids and family. So how do we come to that stage if we are in Grahastha?
Yeah. That in the Grahastha ashram, it's most important to dovetail your activities in Krishna consciousness. You go to work, do your work internally for Krishna, to please Krishna, not for your job, not for the money. Do it to please Krishna, because you must think Krishna has put me in that position and I'm his servant, and I must do my best to serve him. This is not ordinary work. This is for Krishna. It must be perfect, first class. And when you do your work, you have challenges. Everyone has challenges. Pray to Krishna, please help me. I'm doing it for you. Give me the intelligence how to overcome this. Take shelter of Krishna during your work. That's in Bhagavad Gita. Yat kaos, yat asnas, yat yostadas, yat tapasyas kantya, tat kosvamatarpanam. Whatever you do, give away, what work you do, what charity you give, do it as a service for Krishna. So that's not ordinary karma yoga. Karma yoga is we do our work, we don't think of Krishna, and then we give some of the results to Krishna. But no, we have to do our work for Vishnu, for Krishna, to please him, out of love for him. And you don't have to tell that your boss. No way. But internally, you act like that. And then at home, your children, you try to educate them in Krishna consciousness. They may not want to become devotees. Don't be illusioned. But you give them the chance and you educate them that and your house, you work for your house, mortgage and so on, but you turn your house in a temple of Krishna. And you have morning and evening program in your house. Then you are working to pay for the temple, not an ordinary house. And you can, especially Grihasthas, can open their house for other devotees to have a program once a month or once a week, and support the temple, be connected with the mission one way or another. And you have to do your duties. You have to take care of your children. These are Krishna's children, not ordinary children. That children may later decide maybe not to become devotees or live as devotees, but if from their youth they have seen the Arti and so on, Krishna is in their heart, they cannot forget it. That it are still not ordinary children. So we have to learn to dovetail our activities in Krishna consciousness. That's the Grihastha ashram, is engaging all our activities in Krishna's service. The brahmachari will study and the sannyasi, he tries to inspire others here and there. Yeah, does that help? Yeah, good. I think we can stop here. Thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.